Could you say hello just so I can check the audio levels?
Hello, hello. How's
That
that?
is absolutely beautiful. It's looking my end. We'll give it 5 minutes, see if anyone joins us
That's not
from
what I'm
the
after at all.
from the YouTube video. Let me know when you're all good
Hmm,
and live and working and whatnot.
that's not the one I'm after. Why is it
Brilliant,
doing the guest podcast? This is just fantastic.
excellent. That's what I
Okay.
wanted to hear.
No, it's all
Cal.
right. I messed up. No, wait. What I did this time was I went onto the three-person podcast instead of the two-person. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. The reason I'm laughing so much is we've I don't know which episode of the Tangent Tavern we're on now, but
we're on 7 now.
every single episode has started with Callum having something go wrong. No episode has started. For me, it's been smooth sailing.
I promise I'm not even trying to do it as well. That's the worst part of it all.
I'm really impressed that you've managed to find 7 different things to go wrong.
And me,
Over
actually.
7 different episodes. It's fantastic.
It shouldn't be possible, really, should it?
It shouldn't. It's impressive. I can see you in the chat saying, make a video about commandos behind enemy lines. Right, Serga, I adore the video game Commandos. I tried to stream it once. It is literally the most boring game to stream in the world. Because it is a game about sitting, waiting for the enemy guards to turn around, and then you do a thing. And you can be waiting for like 10 minutes. I will definitely review it, but believe me, it is boring to play.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Have you played Commandos before, Cal?
I haven't. I've seen some gameplay of it though, and it's one of those things. I'd enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it's top-down
I'm
bird's
not
eye.
playing it though.
Yeah, top-down bird's eye view, strategic game. It's kind of like playing chess, but with soldiers, and it's fun when you're in control. It's very, very boring to watch. It's a difficult thing to do. Go with the
It does
NES
seem
commando. Oh no. So, Cal, how have you been this week?
I have been pretty good actually. Yeah.
Good.
Let me think. Have I done anything interesting this week? I've done some like freelance programming work for some friends and friends of friends, which has been interesting. I've been on something different every day.
I mean, I'm hoping you've done at least 2 hours worth of interesting stuff, because I've only got the banana story to recycle, and I think people that were on
The banana story.
I've got 2 stories about my life, Cal. One of them involves one of them specifically doesn't involve a banana. And
Right.
what was the other story? There's one other thing that's happened
Did
to
that
me
one
in my life.
specifically involve a banana?
No,
Because
no stories have ever. That's the banana story is the lack of banana in my life. That's the
Right, I was
interesting
going to say
fact.
that was a really weird way to explain it. Because you could have just, if you're going to name everything it didn't include, we could be here all day.
No, that's the thing. We'll
Right,
get
it
on
should
to
have
that.
included a banana, but didn't.
No,
Is that what we're?
No, we don't want any bananas involved at all, ever. And it's more of an anti-story. You know, it's... I don't know if the phrase would be a parable about my life, but it's a fascinating moment. We'll get onto it later.
Right, okay.
I can see that you're intrigued by this, Callum.
I am. The chatter as confused as me.
Fantastic. What's my other... I've got one other thing that happened in my life that's worth talking about. I think I probably put like a pound coin into a vending machine and got 2 chocolate bars at some point in my life. You know,
Really?
You know the
But no
kind of-
bananas.
Oh no, there were no bananas in the.
No.
Well, there might have been in the vending machine. I didn't look. Right. Should we just? I can tell the banana story right now if you want me to. Ken.
I think I need to because my mind's going to be running until you
Okay.
do.
Okay. I'll stretch it out as long as I feasibly can, because we have got a 2-hour podcast to fill. So here we go. When I was about 21, I realised I'd never eaten a banana, and I thought, this is a story, because most people with
What?
access to bananas would have eaten one at some point. And then I thought, hang on, in the future, when I write my biography, I want to be able to put in a little footnote at the bottom of a page, not like a good page, like a page 32, 33 or something. By the way, Josh has never eaten a banana. Because that is an interesting fact about me. And I realised that at 21. And I thought, as soon as I eat the banana in my life, I can't put that in my biography. I'd be stealing an anecdote from myself. So I have
Okay.
actively avoided eating a banana for my entire life. I've got nothing against them. The moment I eat one, I can't put that in my biography. And I've pretty much committed to doing that now.
Can I just... Why have you... How have you avoided eating a banana for that long?
Well, the
I
thing
can't
is,
avoid saying something stupid for 20 minutes, let alone 21 years.
well, the thing is, Cal, there are far fewer roving gangs of force-feeding, banana hooligans now than there were many, many years ago. So it's actually
Yeah,
got a
you
lot...
did skip that generation,
Yeah,
really, didn't you?
it's got a lot easier to avoid. If they were still popular, like the roving bike gangs of the 80s, the roving banana gangs of the early 90s, I'd have a hard time doing it now. But yeah, I just realised that I'd never eaten a banana, and now I nearly ate a disguised banana a couple of weeks ago. That was,
Benisant.
I know. So what happened was I went to a Chinese buffet, and I thought what I was getting from this Chinese buffet were fried chicken balls, because they've got that crispy batter on the outside, and they've got the little...
Don't tell me it was a bloody banana.
It looked like a fried chicken ball, so I picked it up and I bit into it, and I realised it was a fried slice of banana. But thankfully, and this is what I maintain happened, I only ate the fried edging bit. I didn't actually eat the flesh of the banana itself.
Right. Okay. Well, in Sweden they have banana pizzas, and they're actually really nice.
That means I can never go to Sweden.
Yeah. I mean, they do eat other things too, Josh, but...
No, the risk would be too high, Cal.
To be honest, the risk is greater.
It is.
It does look like sort of salami pizza, but
Yeah.
it's just
It's why
banana.
I can't ever move to a country that bananas grow naturally in, because the temptation to just eat one off a tree. I know it'd be there. All right, Cal, I'm glad that we've got that's 7 minutes.
What a high note to start on.
I don't know if this podcast can get any better, to be honest. We've 7 minutes. I managed to stretch that banana story to 7 minutes. Cal, do you have any story involving fruit?
Ooh, I probably do. I'm not going to lie, I don't keep any of them in memory.
You should.
Just anecdotes.
Work out a fruit story, then work out what kind of fruit story you want to put in your autobiography or your biography, and then make it happen. Commit to it. When people say to me, Josh, how have you achieved so much in life? I'll say, I never ate a banana.
I mean, to be honest, that probably is most of your success.
It is. Soon as I eat
But
one,
here's the difference, right?
crumbles.
You have not eaten a banana, I have, and the success level difference is...
I mean, you look at that. You made a YouTube channel like 10 minutes ago, and you're on like 25,000 subs. You're doing ridiculously well.
Yeah, I think it's about to hit 30k, actually.
Dude, you are genuinely doing
It's crazy,
really,
yeah.
really well.
I am surprised that it is taken off as well as it has.
No,
but...
it's good. Oh, did you ever respond to that sponsorship request email that we got?
I was actually just about to call you before this and then realised, we're going on the podcast. They want us to do one, but they want to do a trial.
Okay.
So...
I mean, how would
Yeah.
how would a trial work? Have they
It means we
explained
don't
that?
get paid to sponsor them.
Oh, so we have to mention their product, but we don't
And we
get
don't
paid
get
for it.
paid. Correct.
Right.
Although we do get free products, which I'm kind of tempted.
But that's fine. I'm okay with that's payment for us.
Their entire range.
Oh, great. I'm actually okay with that. That's
Yeah,
a
I think we could...
Everyone in the chat saying, is it Raid Shadow Legends? No, we have some respect.
We get their whole product of their lineup of products.
Whole
just
product. Yes, I got
polished turds on a shelf just lined up.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Ann Summers, no.
Someone's
at all.
guessed it in mine.
Okay, have a guess. Right, guys, I know that all of you are constantly worrying about the state of YouTubers' balls. I know you are. It's true.
Yeah,
Cal's nodding. He knows.
I am. I'm worried about your balls.
Everyone should be. Manscaped, that's the one. Yeah, Manscaped.
Yeah.
Manscaped emailed Callum saying,
Yeah,
"Hey,
me.
yeah, saying, hey, we've got the we want to sponsor the Tangent Tavern." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they're
Seems
just like,
fine.
hey, I bet you've got hairy peaches. Do you want a... Particularly out of the two of us, I thought we'll go for Callum. I was like, well, sure.
Yeah, fair enough. You want to send me some free product? Not a problem. To be fair, they do need to send us some free stuff because we need to actually use the razors to see if they're any good before we say if they're
Yeah.
any good. We don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
They might be crap. We don't know that yet.
They might be.
Let's hope they're good, though. That would be great.
I hope they are.
You know what? You just said hairy peaches. You know what that is, Cal? That's your
What?
fruit story right there.
That's my fruit story.
It
I
is.
was approached because of my hairy peaches.
And I've never eaten a banana. You know what? If you soundbite just that,
No.
that's... People are going to have... Their minds are going to go off on some kind of tangent if you just hear that part of the conversation without the 7-minute build-up to it. It wouldn't make much sense.
Oh, boy. Lorenzo says he's used them and they're good.
Fantastic.
So,
Fantastic. Well,
that even better. I don't doubt they are, but I definitely want to try them before promoting them.
People are saying, already clipped, boys. Fantastic. Right. For anyone new to the stream, allow us to explain how this goes. I am Josh Strife Hayes, and
I am Callum Upton.
this is the Tangent Tavern, a podcast about gaming, mostly.
A little bit.
Sometimes there's games. Mostly.
Occasionally.
Yeah, mostly there's tangents, where we just talk about whatever happens to us in our lives.
Welcome to Manscaped Tavern.
Manscaped Tavern. If we
That
get
sounds
one,
like it belongs in Germany, I'm not going to lie.
I will put it on the back somewhere. I will put a little Manscaped
Oh, yeah.
razor on the back as a little display piece. I'll make it happen. What should
I've
we...
got room on the shelves.
Yeah, be great. So, Cal, what should we talk about today? We've got another hour and 50 minutes to
So-
fill, and I've run out of stories.
Yeah, so I think one thing we can talk about is old school RuneScape's new game mode, Group Iron Man.
Is this your passive-aggressive way of telling me to get onto my account and play more?
It is. Josh, it's the addiction has got so bad.
I know, you've played like 24 hours over the last 3 days.
If you think that was bad, you know how people prepare for Wintertodt for like half a day to get there? I went into raids to Ice Demon and I 3-tick fire maked for 3 hours non-stop from 1 to 50 and buggered off to Wintertodt.
So, for any of you who are unsure what Cal's talking about, old school RuneScape, excellent MMORPG. I would encourage you all to go and play it. We're not being paid to say that, it just genuinely is a good game. And they brought out Iron Man mode, which was limiting that you can't trade, you can't use the Grand Exchange. And now they've brought out Group Iron Man mode, where if you start the game with a specific group of people, you can only trade
Interact with them.
Yeah, within that group. And there's a shared bank account that you can put stuff in and other people can use it. Well, there's a shared bank account that I've got access to because Jagex decided to turn it off.
I've got update on that for you in a bit.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, we'll go back to that because I want to know that's going on. So, we've started a Group Iron Man group. There is myself, there's Cal, there's Lorenzo, there's Daz, and there is... Who else is with us?
Locust.
Locust RS, actually, one another streamer. Now, you've been quite... intense with your early level gameplay to boost up, haven't you, Cal?
Yeah, I've been absolutely hooked. And I put out Friday's video on Group Iron Man. And at the start of it, I said that I did it on Group Iron Man because I genuinely forgot I was putting out a video that day. That's the truth. Like,
Yeah.
I was on it non-stop, and before I realised 3 days had passed, and I was like, oh no, I need to put out a video. Group Iron Man. I got lots of footage from that.
Yeah, Friday's video
It's addictive.
was not meant to be old school RuneScape for you. You were just playing it that much.
Yeah, I realised that I was a day behind. I was a day ahead of where I thought I was. I was like, oh, it's Wednesday, and I looked. I was like, nope, it's Thursday.
And it was impressive because you've been doing Slayer, so you've been adding weapons and armor into the group bank, so we can use the weapons and armor that you found for us. We've got people doing fishing, people doing cooking, people doing herb lore. Everyone's taken their own specialty, haven't they? And they are supporting the team. Apart from me.
Apart from you, yeah. No, you came on and you did some stuff.
I've been questing.
Yeah, I yesterday was my questing day. I reached 550 total level from 350 in one day.
Yeah, I've been questing.
Which is disgusting.
I used some of the gold in the group bank to pay for some ships backward and forward. I did some agility. I'm going to be honest, guys. I am so far the dead weight of the team, simply because I haven't found enough time to play it. But I am going to use the Twitch time on both Wednesday and Saturday to play Group Iron Man. I will do some stuff. You'll be able to pop along and see that I'm doing some stuff.
If I've got time, I'll jump on with you and we'll go do some Slayer or whatever.
That'll be really good.
Yeah.
So what they have done is Jagex had a Group Iron Man shared bank account. Now, they haven't done this before in the game. You put stuff into the shared bank account, and it operates a bit differently to a regular player's bank, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of odd because I'll give you a rundown. So Regular bank in RuneScape works like a bank in any other game. You drop stuff in, close the interface, walk away, and you can come open it and just do whatever. Then they had the first multiplayer bank in Raids. So in Raids, there was a temporary bank that it wasn't persistent through logout.
There was, that's true.
But it worked like a single player bank that multiple people could be in at the same time, taking items, seeing them disappear, seeing other items get put in. And it worked how you'd expect a multiplayer bank to work.
I never even thought about that being in Raids. It was a system I saw, but I never thought this as a temporary bank. But you're right, it is.
Yeah. And then they've added the permanent multiplayer bank. And it's incredibly strange. So you go into your regular bank, your single player bank, and the multiplayer bank's at the top. You click to open it, and it says loading at the bottom. Loading, please wait. Which is strange in itself.
Yep.
Because it's loading 80 items maximum compared to the 800 that you have.
Yeah, it's not a very big bank, is it, the shared one?
Yeah. I've got a few ideas on how they've done this, and I'll tell you why I think I'm right, because the reason they've shut it down ties into this.
Okay.
So, anything you do in that bank, so you can only have one person in there at once. So if I'm in it, Josh can't be in it. It'll say, please wait, someone else is using the bank. And then when you're done, nothing is persistent. You have to press save at the bottom. If you walk away, everything reverts back into your inventory and back into the bank, and it's kind of really janky.
You need to click save, whereas in a regular RuneScape bank, once you've withdrawn an item, that is the transaction. That's happened. Yeah. And then you can close the interface and walk away. But with this one, you withdraw it, you see it in your inventory, but it's not actually permanently there until you click save.
Yes, so you can control when the bank is updated and in what state. Now, I said from the minute I open this bank, the people are going to be duplicating stuff with this, and I've got an idea on how you can do it.
It sounds like a dupe bug, right?
Because
there.
if you can get 2 people into the bank, Josh can put stuff in, I can press save. No, sorry, Josh can take stuff out, I can press save, and it will override my instance of the bank into it. So he'll have taken stuff out, and it will still be there. And I said this to Locust and Daz on the first day. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a way that you could send packets, because all that's stopping you doing that is an interface in your way. So you could probably send packets saying, I want to drop this item while I'm in the bank interface, and it will force the save. And it turns out that's exactly what's happened. There were dupes. Yeah.
RuneScape's always had a problem with duplicating, which was why the purple party hat went to the lowest cost, because it was what was duplicated the most. RuneScape as a game, drop trading, spam trading at the right time, specifically, duplicating with bugs and glitches. Duping items in RuneScape has long been a thing people have tried to do. And the more systems you give players, the more potential exploits that you're giving them.
Yeah, and this one was... I knew that this one would be found within a week, because it's exactly the same as... Do you remember the world crash bug that caused a dupe?
Yes, I think I do.
Yeah, you log 2 accounts in, you log one of them out, then back in to update the save state, trade away your items to the other account, and then have that account log out.
Okay.
But the one that gave the item stays logged in until somebody manages to crash the server, not saving your inventory, and reverting to the last save where you had that item. You've now both got it.
Right, and that was done by forcing
exactly the same without needing to crash the world, because you are the one who is responsible for saving the game state.
So the only real challenge is getting 2 people to access the bank at the same time.
And I think that if you got 2 accounts on your computer and on the same game tick sent the packets to say that you're opening it, I think you could, because it can't stop you if it's checking on the same game tick as someone else is checking.
Yeah.
Both checks return false. There's nobody in the bank, and now you're both in the bank.
Oh yeah. So the only, because a game tick in RuneScape is 0.6 seconds, so the trick would be to send a request within the same 0.6 seconds.
If 2 bank checks return true or false on the same... someone says, but the back end should be smart enough to prevent that. We are talking about a 20-plus-year-old game that is still operating on the same game engine that was built the day it came out.
The RuneScape framework is held together by duct tape and wishes. Honestly, there is so much jank that makes RuneScape work. Have you seen that Simpsons episode where they're explaining to Mr. Burns how his illnesses are all trying to get through the same door at the same time, and they push all the little fuzzy viruses and none of them go through because they're all stopping each other? That's pretty much how RuneScape works in coding. There is so much random stuff going on at the same time that if you were to change one thing, everything else would break. It works right now, provided no one touches anything. It's like the Skyrim opening. Don't change a thing and it's fine. Change anything, the whole thing crumbles.
Do you want to know a fun fact about
always-
something that's broken in RuneScape that a lot of people have no idea about?
I always want to know
some
fun
people.
facts.
Have you ever had a situation where you log in to check your farming patches and it's like you've got one that you need? Like you need this patch, so you keep logging in every 20 to 30 minutes to check if it's grown, and it's kind of like this illusion that the more that you check it, the less it grows.
Yes.
That's because that's true.
What?
So the timer works on, I think it's more frequent now, but a few months ago it was on a 30-minute timer. Every
Okay.
30 minutes there's a farming tick, and it will check to grow or check to die. If you log in, the timer resets back to 0. So if you're logging in within 30-minute intervals, it will never grow. Okay, Locust says it's 5-minute intervals now. But theoretically, if you log in every 4.5 minutes to check your crops, they will never grow.
Wow. That is bad.
Yeah.
This is the jank that RuneScape is built on. And people will defend this. People will defend it because of nostalgia. No, it's bad. It's just bad design.
So there's a recent case of this that came up on Reddit, and I was surprised how few people knew this.
Okay.
So there was a guy stood near a farming patch, and I can't remember what he was picking up on his Iron Man. He was picking up an item that spawns near a farming patch. I think it was like a Chaos Runes or something, let's say.
Okay.
And he was hopping worlds, picking up, hopping worlds, picking up. He'd been doing that for the last 6 hours, and he says, my farming patch hasn't grown. Hopping worlds counts as a login. He'd literally just stopped it.
Yeah, stopped his own timer. Which is very silly.
But then again, that's something that shouldn't happen. Like, he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
The lad's just hopping worlds.
And this is a question for game developers. Once a game player realizes that there is a small, weird, janky interaction like this in the game, and another player asks them, hey, why isn't this happening? They will explain the weird, janky interaction. Should they have to? Should a new player have to get their weird, janky information from an older player, or should they just expect the game to work as it's meant to work?
I think it depends. In this case, it's very unlikely that anyone's now, especially with it now being 5 minutes, instead of 30 minutes, it's very unlikely that someone's going to be logging in and out every less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In that case, that's like an edge case, I'd say. But when it was like 30 minutes, I mean that's stupid.
That's a long time to be
People are
logged
going to
in for.
run into that constantly.
That is a long time. If you're just logging in to do a farming check, that's actually a long time to be logged in for. You log in, you pick your herbs, you replant them, you log out. You log in 20 minutes later, you'd expect a few growth ticks in that time. But no, that's
And it actively hurts your experience by you doing nothing out of the ordinary.
Yep, because
That's where it's weird.
You're basically being told the more you log into the game, the less progress you're going to get on this specific system.
Unless you stay logged in.
Yeah, which is what they want.
Which is, it's strange. There's a lot of things on the back end that just don't make any sense.
Red Sky in my chat is saying the group Iron Man will not work because of the precedence of packets of information being sent. There will be a way, even if it's not this way specifically, there will be a way that people have managed to get it open at the same time, or find a way to duplicate it, or find a way to change it.
We've had confirmation.
Yeah, but the Jaggers have taken it offline.
Yeah, Mod, somebody, there were screenshots from in-game of somebody talking to him, saying, do you want more information on the dupe? And him saying, thank you for bringing it to our attention. We've currently locked the bank due to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a mod on Reddit that also confirmed it after the screenshots came out, Locust says. So, yeah.
So things happen immediately. It gets locked down. It's interesting.
Luckily it was early days, so nobody had anything of any value. Sure, people might have generated some items that they could, sell to merchants and that, but there was no, like, twisted bows or anything that you'd actually want to drop off the account that would be, of value to real accounts.
Right, gotcha. So, yeah, I think that because you described it in your video, I think perfectly, when you said that Group Iron Man is just Dungeons and Dragons set in RuneScape. That's what it is. It's a team of 5 players taking on different responsibilities, working out who they want to be, working out how they're role-playing it, how they're going to mechanically play it, and then adventuring and experiencing the game together. If you've ever thought, oh man, it'd be so cool to play through an MMORPG, but just with a small dedicated team of players, that's what it is. It really made me feel like I was playing Guild Wars 1. Because when I was adventuring into the world, I knew there were only 4 other people that I was going to interact with, but they weren't on right now. It changes it from an MMORPG to a multiplayer online game, but with people that I actually like.
It's strange. It's such a... If you explain this to people, they won't get it. They won't get the feeling of playing it, because if you look at it on a really broad level, it's a team of 5 people that are playing a multiplayer game with other teams and like solo people around them that they can't interact with.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange though, because now you don't think of those other people as players. You think of them as very advanced NPCs.
Yep.
They mean nothing to you. They're just doing things in the world that don't affect you. And so, like, you'll see people running around smithing at the forges and that. And it's just great because they feel like the world is alive, even though you're not interacting with them. And you said this to me the other day on stream. Yeah, it's great having thousands of people in the world, but if you're not interacting with every single one of them, what's the point?
Yeah, there's no point having... To say this game has 1 million players is great, but unless you actually reference and are relevant to all 1 million, it doesn't have 1 million players to you.
No,
it needs to have a certain amount to you. Now, what I do want to discuss is my Wednesday video is going to be about New World.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to call it pretty clickbaity, but I think it's emotional titling, so I actually do answer the question. 5 reasons New World sucks. Now, I enjoy New World, but I think if you enjoy something, especially if you really want something to be the best it can, you should be willing to criticise it.
You have to think critically with them,
Because
and I think New World's the perfect time to do that, because it has its issues.
It does.
And I think some of them are going to get a lot worse before they get better.
Well, if I tell you the 5 issues that I've picked up as 5 major talking points, I'd love to hear your opinion on what you think of them. And anyone in the chat, if you've played New World for any reason, please let me know what you think of this as well, because this is like an advanced sneak peek of Wednesday's video. I've picked up 5 specific reasons that I think players will stop playing or will leave or will eventually become annoyed at New World enough for that they quit. So the first one is there is really no narrative structure. There is no story. There is no personal, empathetic connection to any NPC, to any character, to any named person in the game. I was playing the game and I thought, okay, so I'm a traveller on a ship and I've crashed onto this island. What was the ship I was on called? What was the captain of my ship called? Who's the first person I speak to in the game? When I joined a covenant or a faction, I joined the Syndicate. What's that guy's name? What do the Syndicate want? It's skin deep.
I ran into this exact issue. When I was playing the beta, I was constantly asking people, who's that? Who's that? Like, who's this guy I've got to go speak to? I know the name, but who is he? And they're like, that's the guy that just gave you all your starter quests. And I'm like, didn't know that. He's nobody to me.
I realised there was a problem when, you know the New World face that's on the front of the icon and the item?
Yes,
the guy with the mask with the red eye coming through.
Yeah.
Who is that? What's his name?
I literally couldn't tell you.
No clue. No idea.
No idea.
That is literally the icon of the game.
Yeah.
No idea who he is.
No.
It looks cool. It looks nice.
Really cool.
Yeah, it looks Angry Mask Man. That's all we're getting in the chat. Angry...
I'm actually 3D printing that mask.
John New World. That's who it is.
John New World.
But, okay, so people are saying Captain Thorpe, Captain Thorpe, Captain Thorpe. Okay, so Captain Thorpe and then Jeff Bezos. So who's Captain Thorpe? How does he affect me now?
Yeah, beyond the name, who is he?
Yeah. And then I'm doing quests for my faction. Who's leading my faction? Who's in charge? What does my faction even want? Beyond
why does it exist?
Yeah, beyond the 3 colours, what are they? I honestly think that because New World has such... this is the reason people say, why am I doing this in games? You know when you're playing an MMO and you sit back and you're like, why am I doing this? That's because you don't have a narrative structure. When you're playing Final Fantasy XIV, hey, why am I doing this quest? Oh yeah, to help such and such. RuneScape, hey, why am I collecting an egg, some milk, and some flour? Oh, to help the cook who wants the cake for this.
Yeah.
You're doing it for someone else. In New World, you're doing everything for you.
Yeah.
Which means if you can't... With sandbox design, the freedom given to a player is fantastic. But the problem with sandbox design is there's no narrative. And
Yeah.
this means that the developers are hoping the players will imbue their own narrative into their own actions, because if they don't, they won't find one at all. They've taken the freedom of sandbox design, forgot to add the narrative of theme park, which would have kept people around, and they are putting off a load of people who are story-driven gamers.
This is a big issue with sandbox. If you're making sandbox, you need to go full sandbox. You need to give people the tools to make things happen. You need to allow people to start narratives by themselves. But New World doesn't have that. It's very restrictive with that. But it's also missing scripted, real, meaningful things.
Yeah.
So it's got the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, people are saying the game should be PvP. Don't worry, we get onto that. So, my first problem with New World is I don't feel any relevance. If you accept a quest from a faction leader in a town, let's say the Syndicate, because the guy's hunching over reading a book, and then you go to another town, you know what the Syndicate faction leader looks like? He's hunching over reading a book. In fact, it's exactly the same model. It's
Really?
Yeah. And then you go to another town, and the Syndicate leader is a guy hunching over reading from a book. They haven't actually bothered changing the faction quest givers much from town to town. The Marauder guy will be standing there with a hammer. The other dude, the Covenant dude, will be standing there preaching and proselyting. It really, like the Jarls sitting in Skyrim. You turn up, it's very... In fact, I've got a picture to send you. Someone pointed out on Reddit that a couple of the towns looked the same.
I've seen this. Someone put this in my Discord earlier, and you rotated the map to show it.
I rotated the map. I'll show people on the thing later, but I rotated the map specifically. Files are too big for that one, but I'll show later. Yeah,
It's 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's literally 1-to-1. I'll do it. I'll take a shot of it.
Yavir in my chat says New World's been real quiet after Dream World's latest update.
But no, it's literally just the same kind of thing. So the first problem I have with New World is the world feels soulless.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it really does. It's a beautiful world.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's just a husk of a world, though. There's nothing.
You scratch the gold veneer on the surface, it's just plastic underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel that... And if anyone in the chat agrees or disagrees, feel free to say, but I feel that New World feels like it's been built by corporations, not by game designers.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like a small studio made the framework for this and was like, look at this, we've got this brilliant pitch, and Jeff Bezos is just like, we'll finish that off now, and they didn't finish that off and put it out.
Yeah. So that was my first main issue, the problem. I'm going to get my actual script up so I can remember this, because I know I've got 5 reasons somewhere. Yeah, the first reason was most definitely lack of emotional relatability. The second one, I think people are going to understand this, is the quests are incredibly repetitive.
Oh yeah, if you've done 5, you've done them all.
Yeah. So
it's
go to a place,
kill.
Go to a place, kill X amount of enemies. Go to a place, collect X amount of items on the floor. Go to a place, pick X amount of resources.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the quest design. That's literally all of it.
I think that's going to be a huge problem for every MMO going forward, because if they're not... It's okay to have things to be pick this up, talk to this person, if it's part of a bigger thing.
Yeah.
RuneScape again. Perfect example. I'll have a quest that is, I need to make a cake. And this is one of the shortest quests. I need to make a cake for the king. So I go and gather ingredients, different ingredients in different place. Now I can either gather them or I can go buy them from places.
But there's 2 different... You can make that choice. You can finish the quest in any way. Let's talk about getting the flour in Cook's System RuneScape. 1, find a pot. 2, pick some wheat. So find an item, then collect an item, then use the item on a thing in the world, the actual windmill. Then use the lever in the windmill to make the windmill do the thing it's meant to do. Then collect the item that it's been created at the bottom using the item in your inventory. You've got like 5 different levels of interaction there using the in-world actual buildings to make a process happen.
Yes, and here's the thing. That building, you will, for a quest, probably never use it ever again.
No, but it's
But
there.
if you want to go make wheat or make flour, you can go use it whenever you want.
It's taught you how to do that.
It's taught you how to do
It
that.
has used a quest to teach you how the world works, and that's what I love about RuneScape. RuneScape, I think, old school especially, well, RuneScape 3 for the newer quests, has the best questing out of any MMORPG.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Hands down the best.
RuneScape uses its quests to not only teach you how the world works and teach you how the objects work, but to introduce new parts of the world to you.
Yeah. The best way to think of it for someone who hasn't played RuneScape is think of World of Warcraft, right? Imagine the zone, Thousand Needles, right? Because it was quite a short zone. Imagine that zone is one quest. Everything you did in there that was all connected and all for the same thing, that's one quest. That's not the 60 that you did in an hour. Because let's be honest, you did the 60 in an hour pretty much, and that zone's done. And you just feel like, you don't feel like you've done 60 quests.
So
But if it was all quest with actual meaning,
Yeah.
it feels like it's got a lot of meaning.
Yeah. And what I feel is that because of these quests being incredibly repetitive, I'm seeing a lot of people saying they're hitting what they're referring to as the level 30 wall. When you
Yeah.
hit level 30, you're halfway to level 60. And you start to realise, because I've been doing the main story quest, I was playing the main story quest today. I was told to go to 3 individual huge obelisks, climb the obelisks and interact with the chest at the top. So I did that for all 3. Then I went back and handed the quest in. And my next quest is climb to the top of 3 different obelisks, interact with the chest and bring it back. Literally the same quest, but with different obelisks.
Yeah.
And then I went to do some faction quests. Kill some zombies. I killed the zombies. I went back. I handed it in. Hey, what's my next faction quest? Kill some more zombies. Once you hit level 30, you realise you've seen the game.
Yeah.
Everything from 30 to 60 is just more of the same. Now, hey, if you like that, sweet. If you like that, great. Destiny does that. Warframe does that to an extent.
Yeah.
A lot of games have that same repetitive loop, but I think it is a bit too repetitive.
And it comes back to this, doesn't it? That the journey should be the reward. And
Yes.
if the journey is the same, you're getting the same reward throughout the journey.
Yeah. One thing
And
that I
it
really
means you
feel-
have to have a strong end game.
Yeah. One thing I really feel that New World doesn't do very well is it doesn't make its actual world relevant. RuneScape makes its world relevant because almost every item or object in RuneScape can be interacted with or used in some way. Picked up, interacted with another object, used like a smithing anvil or a fishing hole. There's a lot in the world that you can make things happen with other stuff in the world.
Yeah.
New World, the world itself feels very static.
Yes.
It doesn't
definitely
feel,
does.
It doesn't feel like they've used the world as a gameplay mechanic when it's one of its best assets.
Yeah. Someone in my chat's just said something that I didn't think anyone was actually going to notice, Josh. Touche Soup says, I just realised that the background is mirrored on each stream like they're sitting across from each other.
See?
We said this day one, we were like, let's do it so it looks like we're sitting across from each other, and I thought no one's going to notice that. So congratulations.
We actually take our time to make sure that could happen. That could work.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone noticed.
And me, I forgot we'd done that until they put that. I was like, is it? And I was like, yeah, we did do that.
We did. We specifically chose to do that. It was an artistic choice we made, and I think
Yeah.
it's paid off. So yeah, the lack of questing, I think, is going to have to... Level 30 wall is a thing that people are hitting, and they're quitting because they're realising this is what the game is. They haven't got anything else. So that's the first point, was lack of emotional relatability, and the second point was extremely repetitive quests. Point 3 is literal copy-pasting of town assets make it feel corporate instead of passionate. Have you seen the
Yeah.
picture of the thing that I've made where I took the towns? I don't know if you guys in the stream have seen this. So there is a town in... I'll see if I can get the picture up to show you guys. There is a town in the game, early in the game, and then there's a town late in the game. And I realised that if you rotate the later town, it is the first town.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't even
I
changed
had
it.
vaguely noticed this, but I never thought to overlay the maps. I didn't realise that it was 1-for-1.
Yeah, I overlaid the maps. It's Windswood and Morningdale have the same layout. It's 1-for-1. And people have said to
Buildings
me,
as well.
yeah, it is. People have said to me, oh, it's because the towns haven't been upgraded yet. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't have 2 towns that start exactly the same.
It's just laziness.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that's what gets me about that. It shows every single individual town should have a personality, a story, a history, a reason to be. And this doesn't. I'm going to get the picture up because I really want people to to see exactly what I'm on about here.
Yeah, when we say they are identical, we mean identical.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of set dressing in each one to make it look a bit different, but if you look at the map, identical.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely ridiculous how accurate it has been. I should have a picture of it somewhere. If I haven't got a picture of it somewhere, I'll stick a picture somewhere else. But it is literally the same map. I will try, and I might even bring up GIMP.
I was going to bring it up, but I can't go into Discord, otherwise it'll show our
things.
Show our DMs on stream.
I will stick
which is not ideal.
I'll put it on Discord though. I will put it on after this chat, guys. Come and join us on the Discord. The things are all on the screen. I will put this image that I've made of the things up, and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm on about. It is absolutely ridiculous how accurate this is. So I think that's lazy. I think that's a really lazy way of doing it. The fourth and the fifth one are both mechanical issues. Are you aware of the mass reportings and the bannings that this has caused?
Just before this, I saw Kira had put a video out. Now I haven't seen it, but I'm interested because there is something apparently where people, I'm gonna guess the ban system relies more on reports than it does actual investigation.
They have an automated system that's been discovered where if one player receives a certain amount of bans or reports against them in a short amount of time, it will, just to be safe, automatically ban them for 24 hours. Now, New World is a game about PvP. So what has been happening is two huge companies have agreed to have a war against each other to control an area, and then 20 hours before the war starts, one company just mass reports all of the other company and gets them banned. And that's happened. People on Reddit have been saying this. You've had people posting, hey, I'm the commander of our company and I got banned for 24 hours. What's that about? Hey, I'm the defensive specialist for our company. I got banned. What's that about? There's even been, I'm going to find this and put it in the chat. There have been mainstream news reports about this. Hang on.
It kind of just feels like Amazon's approach to this is just set it and forget it. They want as little interaction with it after it goes out.
I've shared a link in my chat. It's actually been reported on now. So the automatic ban is... You don't want to discourage people from reporting actual toxic players. You want a system that rewards good, genuine players and punishes horrible, nasty players. You want to weed those out of your community. You don't want nasty people in the community. But when you see it being abused like this, you realise it's a PvP game, and this is metagaming. This is metagaming victory in a game.
It's leveraging something that you know will work.
Yeah.
And it's a tool that's been given to you.
So I think that is one of the... That's reason number 4, that Amazon's New World is suffering and sucks right now. The best way to win a PvP battle in New World is to mass report the other team.
Yeah.
And that's silly.
Here's what it should do. And this is how RuneScape does it. And I think most games, after X amount of reports received by a person in a certain amount of time, it puts a flag on them.
Yep.
Then a system somewhere in the background monitors that account for the next X amount of time.
Yeah.
And if it finds something suspicious going on, or if it thinks there's an actual issue, it then passes it off to a human. But what Amazon are doing is they don't want the human interaction there because it's just something else they have to do.
Yeah, it is.
And if they cannot do it, why would you do it? That's kind of their philosophy with this.
It really is proving that. There's a number. I believe it's called Laban's number. It might be called the Monkey Sphere number as well. And Laban's number is the maximum amount of people you as an individual can have a meaningful connection to. And I think the number is between 150 and 200.
I think that's about right, yeah.
That's also been discovered to be the maximum efficiency for teamwork. If you have a team of 100 people and you know everyone in the team and you know what their job is and you can lead them to do it, that's when working together works really, really well. 100 people, maximum teamwork, provided leadership is good. Once you go over that Laban's number, 150, you get to about 200 people, there becomes too many people to really control. You'll see this in big companies when you realise they're not being as efficient as they could be.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
New World's experiencing that right now. Massive guilds are falling apart because they got too big too soon with no central leadership.
Yeah. This is why WoW downscaled from 40-man raids.
Yeah.
Sure, getting 40 people together, that's not a problem. That's actually quite doable. Getting 40 people together that can execute tactics from following orders and stuff, not happening.
Yeah.
20 is hard enough,
It is.
but 40 is just near impossible. That's why the top guilds were the only ones ever clearing raids.
Yeah. People have said in the chat that there was a really smart thing someone wrote. I'm going to read back quickly. Yeah, why pay an employee when you can just let a bot do that? Isn't this the point of PvP, to win by any means necessary? Ooh, depends. Depends on whether
I would
is or
say
isn't.
that the reporting is... I'd say using any means on a character level. If it's anything outside of that, such as reporting, which isn't character-based,
Yeah.
you can make multiple characters and report off all of them. I think that's where the line should be drawn, because that's not an in-game
Yeah.
mechanic.
It's like saying
more
you-
of an out-game.
It's like saying you can win a game of chess by just punching the other person in the face when
Yeah.
they're not ready for it. Yeah, you may be able to step back and say, "Hey, I won that chess game." You didn't. You physically beat the other person. You didn't actually beat them in a battle of skill in the conflict and the contest you were actually involved in. That's the thing. You can't just... Isn't that chess boxing, which is a real thing? Yes. Report abuse should be bannable. Chess boxing's a real thing.
Oh, God.
It's a chessboard in a boxing ring, and you play chess for a minute, and then box for a minute, and chess for a minute, and box for a minute, and the winner is the first person to win either of these things.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, I think people
watch that.
Yeah, people just box more than they chess, because it's kind of hard to win a chess game in like 3 minutes. And it's relatively easy to win a boxing or to lose a boxing match within 3 minutes, especially if you're going really hard, really hell for leather for it. So yeah, the mass bannings is the fourth point. The fifth point is, I realised if everyone's going to get mass banned over PvP, the best thing to do is just not PvP. And a lot of people are playing New World as a PvE game.
Yeah.
You know how there's no centralised banking?
Yeah.
But if you are in a faction-controlled city and you have items in another city that's controlled by the same faction, you can access that.
Yeah.
Let's say that you're a PvE player. You log in and you realise 90% of your server is one faction. And you're never going to PvP.
Oh,
What faction are you going to choose?
the one that's winning.
Because that way you get access to your bank.
Yeah.
Banks...
This is a big issue with factions in any game. If there's any meaningful reward, or any reward, you're not going to pick a faction that's losing. Like, that's stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah. You're also not going to pick it based on any kind of moral reasons or any emotional reasons. If you're playing the game, if you are playing, and someone's just said you cannot join the dominant faction as a new player, that's even worse. So if you're playing the game, and one faction is winning really, really, really well, that faction now has access to more bank accounts from more places. This is silly. This is very, very, very silly.
Yeah, it's
Tying...
cool concept, but awful in practice.
Yeah, tying a PvE-based mechanic to the success of PvP, not good. Even when people do PvP, they will pick the winning team. Remember that you can just change your faction as well. As soon as you choose to join a faction, you can change it for free within the first, 30 days. There we go. What moral or emotion can you have on 3 colours? Yeah, that's true.
I don't think having a dominant faction in each server is a problem. That's the point. But when it's consistently the same one, then it's a problem.
People in the chat are saying 120 days. It's 120 days after you've changed it for the first time. Because when I started the game, I joined the Marauders, and then a week later, I changed and went to the Syndicate instead, and now you have to wait 120 days. You get 1 free switch.
Which makes it worse, really.
The problem is the losing factions don't have an incentive. That's also linked to the 2,000 player cap on each server. I think you can choose the dominant faction when you start. You really genuinely can.
Yeah, you can.
There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So yeah, you can just switch to the winning faction, or even if it's not the winning one, the second winning faction have access to more bank accounts. It's going to suck to not be able to have access.
Yeah.
Having access to your bank, or the ability to bank, is not
A reward.
it's not a mechanic that you want to have based player to player.
No.
You don't want to say to one player, hey, you can access your bank because your team's doing really well, but you can't access your bank because your team's doing badly. You're punishing PvE players for the success or failure of PvP players on their team.
And it's a snowball effect. If your faction shit, and you're now not allowed to access your bank, you're going to be worse, because now you've got to travel further to do the same thing that they can do there.
Yeah.
So you're being, like, handicapped for already being handicapped.
And ironically, if you then decide to turn PvP on to fight back and you travel from one city to another, you're now more likely to be killed.
Yeah.
Because the enemy have just more stuff. I think that's a big one. So when we look at this, even if every individual thing doesn't bother you, consider this. New World is an MMORPG that's beautiful but shallow. I feel there's a lack of emotionally relatable characters or named characters or any central narrative to draw the story along.
Yeah.
It's extremely repetitive in its quest design of kill X, collect X, kill X, collect X, go and loot X, go and find X. The quests don't seem like quests. They seem like menial labour.
Yeah.
You don't feel like
just time gates.
Yeah. You don't feel like a hero doing any of it. And the people you're doing them for, the faction leaders, they're soulless. They're boring, dull characters. They're not even characters. They're just mechanics that exist there.
It's a good-looking game with a brilliant concept that was made with no love.
Yeah, I agree. And then you've got the copy-paste of maps showing that there was no love there, exactly as you put it there. You've got the mass reporting of players to ban them before PvP, and you've got the banking system tying a PvE playstyle into PvP mechanics that you may not be personally involved in. It's not great.
I'm actually going to make a video on this soon about the fact that MMOs are being built backwards.
Okay.
And the best way to put that is, let's use RuneScape as an example. Humble beginnings. 3 brothers that made a game. So they wanted to make an RPG. It was going to be a MUD. And then they realized, okay, MMO suits, what we're doing better. So it's going to be an MMO. And then they wanted to add a quest for this thing. So they made locations for the quest. And then later on, they were like, damn, we need to make money off this to keep it going. So let's find the best way to monetize it. Now, new MMOs are doing that completely backwards. Okay, we need money. What can we make that will give us money? An MMO, okay? We want 12 cities. Why? Don't know. We're going to have to fill it with shit. We filled 4, and the other 8 are just empty. Just fill it with whatever. Just make them look like there is stuff in there.
Just use the same first 4 cities, but twist them round.
Yeah. And then you end up with, like, meaningless cities and meaningless locations.
Yeah.
Like, any location in RuneScape that you go to has a purpose, and you can tell it was built for that purpose, not put there and filled afterwards.
That's a really, really good way of putting it. When I see this all the time with Dungeons and Dragons players or with fantasy writers who like world building. So what they'll do is they'll draw a huge map, and then they'll put a city here, and then there, and then there, and then there, and then there. They'll make everything, then they'll try and work out the history of what happened. Instead, you're going about this the wrong way. Create a landmass, that's fine. Work out where the first people settled on the landmass. Put a city there because they would build one. Work out the adventure the first few explorers went on and where they ended up. Put a city there and build that. Work out where they travelled from there. Put a city there. Create the world as the story goes into it. Yep. Don't create a whole soulless world and then try and force a story to fit with this. It doesn't work. I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it.
Hajanim says in our chat, organic world building, which is what we're doing for Nightmare World.
Yeah. Imagine if you walked up to a huge lump of clay, that was there, and you think, right, I'm going to tear away everything at this until I work out what I want to be there. Or you work out and you take a small lump of clay and you put it there and you're like, I'm happy with that, that's good. I've made something that I think is cool with this. Then you make something else that's cool, then something else that's cool, and you make lots of little cool things, put them all together, and suddenly you have a really big thing created from lots of cool things. That's a great way of doing it. MMORPG makers are, as you said, they're doing it backwards. They are creating a soulless world, working out how to make people pay for it, then working out what the hell we have to put it into there. It seems like an insurmountable task.
Because here's the thing. You've said this previously. You can only make certain amount of decisions at any given time on any day. Now, if someone's daily task is make the entire world. We'll fill it later. Everything's going to be based off the same decisions that day.
Yep.
What you ideally want to do is, let's say we've got a team, and I say to you, Josh, we need like a Caribbean kind of island thing. That's your job. Go do that. I'll make a kind of vampire hamlet somewhere. They're going to look totally different because you've made one, I've made one.
Yep.
You're focusing on a theme for that area. I'm focusing on a theme for that area. If I did all of them, they'd look very similar. Because you get into the process of trying to speed up your workflow and simplifying it.
This is where you get into visual storytelling, which is a really difficult technique to get your head around if you've not looked into it before. Let's imagine this. Let's imagine that you're talking about a kind of a Caribbean-style village or island on the banks of a river. And you're designing a Caribbean-style hamlet or a city or a village or whatever, and you put some bamboo stuff there, you put some steel drums there, you put all the stereotypical things that you would see there. At no point have you actually stopped and thought, right, where have they got the steel from for the drums? Who's made these? Where's the bamboo come from? How have they created this? Instead of just doing what you think should be there, look at the location you've got and say, right, how would they build this? How would this... Okay, so the river has what kind of fish? This kind of fish? Okay, let's have that exact fish hanging up in the village. What kind of wood is there around locally? Let's build all of the actual buildings out of that kind of wood. How much have they got of this? Create a village to tell the visual story of the location around there, so you can see how all the bits got there, see how it was created, how it was built. Morrowind does this really well. The RPG Morrowind, when you find all of the giant mushrooms that have been burrowed into and made out of the landscape. Great visual storytelling for how it all works. Yeah. So there are everything is dynamic based on the world itself specifically.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to do that in a kind of corporate.
It is, because that takes time. That is the difference.
That takes thought.
That's the difference between Game of Thrones Season 1 to 5 and Game of Thrones not Season 1 to 5.
Yes.
Because Season 1 to 5, the books, took a hell of a long time to make with a lot of world building.
I'm going to ask people in chat. I'm going to ask people in chat to hop on New World now, go to cities, look at because they've all got wooden kind of like staked fences round them.
Yeah.
Take a screenshot of that with some trees nearby. I guarantee they're not even remotely the same type.
Where's the wood?
They just won't be. Yeah, there's just this random wood that's not from the surrounding area. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, it's very nitpicky. It doesn't change the game. But it really does, because that influences the entire style of that area. And if the entire style feels like, you know, this building was just picked up and plopped here, players can tell. They might not know that that's why they feel off, but it is.
That's exactly why when you play all these weird Steam shovelware games that have been made by some random third world game company just being pumped out and churned out, you realise everything feels so off. Everything feels so wrong. It feels like the landscape was made, then an asset was made of a castle and just plonked on top of it. Then an asset was made of a knight and put inside it, but none of these assets actually work together. None of them... It feels like an asset flip. It feels like a really, really high-quality asset flip.
I've actually got something for you as well, that somebody told me the other day, that they're working for a game company. Now, it's not a reputable one. I'm not going to name it, but they essentially said this company is begging for shovelware. Like, they are even describing it as such. They want shovelware games to throw out there because they know they can pay $100 to buy it, and it will make that back. In ads. If it gets enough advertisement and traction, it will make that back.
Is it a mobile gaming company?
Yeah. They want to throw out as much shovelware in any given month. In like any given month, they can be putting out 90 plus games.
Yep.
Because if one of them makes 1,000 or two, it's paid off the rest.
Now, I was looking at this a while ago. There's two stories I've got that revolve around this specifically. First of all is the guys that made Angry Birds, which is pretty much just a rip-off of the Crush the Castle catapult game back on Newgrounds. The team behind Angry Birds, I remember reading them, they made about 90 games a week. They just churned out games. They were like, right, one of these is going to succeed. A lot of people like to think that you sit down I call this the sniper approach, where you sit down, you work on one game, one bullet, one shot, you hit it, it's perfect, lots of money. That doesn't happen. In real life, that doesn't happen. What works much more effectively is what I call the shotgun approach. Fire enough bullets, eventually you hit something.
Pray and spray.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And the guys that were making Angry Birds just put out game after game after game after game after game. Eventually one succeeded. And I discovered something recently. I really like tower defense games. I don't know if you've played tower defense games
I
before.
love tower defense games.
They're great. And I decided to download a tower defense game on my phone. The kind where you've got, you play the game, you've got the path the creeps follow, and you've got specific places you can put towers down, and you've got like the arrow tower which fires quickly but it doesn't do much damage, and you've got the bomb tower which does a wide AoE attack but it fires slowly, and you've got the ice tower which freezes things, and then you've got another tower which produces little minions that run and attack people. And then I downloaded another game, another tower defense game, with the same map for level 1. Graphics were changed, but they had the same towers in the same locations. And then I downloaded about 10 tower defense mobile games. All of them had the same maps and the same towers and the same mechanics and the same costs. All the games, you started with 100 gold, an arrow tower would cost you 40, a bomb tower cost you 50, a defense tower cost you 60, and I was playing all of them, I thought, these are the same game.
Do you want to know the reason for that?
Tell me, Cal.
There is an asset pack at least on the Unreal Engine store, where you can buy a completely finished pre-made tower defense game. And they're just asset flips. So people are downloading a pre-made with the pre-made costs, because it's already balanced. Why do they need to change it?
Jitox is spot on. The Kingdom Rush clones. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it was.
And people will change the currency that you use. They'll change some of the models out because they're just models.
Yeah.
And they'll retexture the grass because it's just drag and drop at PNG. Mm-hmm. They can do a literal 10-minute asset flip that could make them thousands.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows better.
Why
and
not?
they will do it with 30 games. They'll get the template and make 30 different art styles from other assets on the store, jumble them together, ship it.
Yeah. And every single one of these will have a cash shop in it, but it's never the cash shop they're worried about. What they care about is, once you've been playing for about 5 or 10 minutes, you'll get a pop-up that says, buy this pack, usually $49, now $1.50.
Worst part is that's an asset pack too.
Yeah, and it's never usually $49, it's always $1.50. They just want you to buy it. Allow me to just let my cat out of the room, because she has decided... go on, Mia.
Josh, Josh definitely doesn't have legs. I think it's confirmed. He had to scoot over to them.
Yeah, but when I was downloading all these games, I thought, oh my god, I can't believe that there were so many asset flips.
It's, do you know what? The asset flips are so easy to do now. Mm-hmm. You could probably write a Python script to produce asset flips for you.
And I hope you understand that if Callum says that I could do something, it has to be dummy simple. Like, I know... To me, coders are wizards. I have no idea how you have managed to trick a rock into thinking with a combination of ones and zeros. It's incredible that you've been able to do that. So, yeah, I wouldn't be able now to do it at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you've done if you've done the 4-hour Python tutorial on YouTube, you could probably do it. And
it's ridiculous.
Set it and forget it. It's just you get it to generate these things, come back, open up all 60 of them that's been done while you're at work, pick the 3 best ones, chuck them out there, or pick all 60 of them. What's the harm?
Yeah, just throw them all out. Or put them all under different gaming company names so people don't realise that it's just one flip repeatedly. All different company names, all different... the menu layouts are the same. It's like how GamerGo have one cash shop layout for all of their games, because it keeps it simple.
Yeah, and the thing is, when they start to take over most of the market of just junk that's thrown out there, you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
It represents that they've got a big portion of the market, whether it's good or bad.
It's that familiarity. It's kind of like on YouTube when you have those content farms putting out life hack videos.
Yeah.
We should do that. Life hacks they're dumb. They're not even hacks.
They're not. Like, I've seen some of them where it's It's just like somebody wraps a medical mask around a mug and picks it up, and I'm like, what is the hack? What's that achieving?
One of my absolute favourite YouTube channels by a country mile is JXE. I absolutely adore the content JXE makes. I find him hilarious, like actual crying with laughter at the videos he makes. And he's made a load of debunking or reacting to 5-minute crafts, life hacks, stuff like that. Troom, these stupid things, and they're hilarious. I really, really do enjoy the content that he puts out. I'll send you some videos. I think it's really funny. Yeah, life hacks are dumb.
Life hacks they've gone full circle now, because they started out as things that were interesting, like the genuine life hacks. You'd share them because they're interesting. You're like, okay, that's quite cool. But now you share them because they're stupid and absolute meaningless. It's like the script has been written by an AI, and they've looked at it and they're like, actually, that'd be a really funny life hack. I don't know, just like wrap a banana in cling film, bash it off a table. There you go. There's your life hack. What is it? Don't know, but they're going to share it.
People are asking in the chat, JXE, JAYEXCI. I find the stuff they produce absolutely fantastic. So yeah, we've got dumb things. We've got incredibly beautiful but emotionally vapid things like New World. And then we've got remarkably graphically ugly things that actually have a lot of inherent value to the gameplay, like RuneScape.
Yeah.
Do you think graphics are maybe pulling a little bit more attention than they actually deserve?
Yeah, I actually think that this is one of the biggest problems. Production time is the main reason it's an issue. If you are producing a photorealistic or high definition game, your time to produce that is exponentially more than doing low poly. And it doesn't age well, because if you're making something that's cutting edge, it's only cutting edge until it's not, which is next week.
Yep.
Your game's cutting edge selling point isn't a selling point forever. Low poly will always be a selling point.
Yeah. A car depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot. A computer is outdated the moment you get it home. And if you say, hey, look at our game, it's got the best graphics, if that's your selling point, you're putting a time limit on yourself. I've always said style ages better than graphics.
Yeah.
If you have a defined style, a certain color palette, a certain way of rendering, a certain personality, a certain emotion. Guild Wars 2 does it really well with its watercolor style painting. Everything to do with Guild Wars 2 looks like it's painted with a watercolor paint.
Yeah.
It's beautiful the way it's gone through. RuneScape, its style has aged really well.
Yeah, it has. They're going to run into issues with this in the future, because people forget this as well. Let's say it's an MMO. Let's say I'm starting an MMO tomorrow, and I go, I'm going to use cutting edge graphics and technology for rendering, like what's it called? NVIDIA ray tracing.
Yeah.
My game's going to be finished in 5 to 6 years. There's already something better out.
There's also an issue with that, if I remember, because I think the time limit is 4 years. New technology seems to come out every 4 years. So if you start a project with a certain engine or a certain technique or a certain graphical ambience, once you're 4 years in, you realize that actually the engine you're working with is now outdated, the technique you're using has been surpassed, and you need to go back and restart it. And I'm sure this has happened to some major games where they've actually decided to rewrite and restart major parts of the project mid-project because new things have come out.
It's the treadmill effect, and game developers already know what I'm on about before I say it. Let's use Unreal Engine as an example.
Yeah,
we've got Unreal Engine 4.2, right? And it's got like volumetric fog in it, and then we start developing, and then 4.2.1 is announced, and it's got volumetric lighting for the volumetric fog, and you sit there and you're like, do we update? Because it's going to break all of this, but do we update for that thing? And this is something that we're facing with Nightmare World. Yeah. We are trying to get ourselves prepared to move over to Unreal Engine 5 now rather than later. Because Unreal Engine 5 is undoubtedly it's just infinitely better than Unreal Engine 4 in almost every aspect.
And you get major... I mean, people have said in the chat, Duke Nukem Forever is a good example. Daikatana was one. You get this thing where if graphics are your main selling point, the people that play your game are going to move on as soon as new graphics exist. You need to make it so graphics aren't your main selling point. You need to make it so gameplay. But it's really hard to show gameplay in a flashy E3 trailer. E3 trailers are just, hey, look at our graphics are better than yours.
It really is an issue. E3 is not a good example of games. I mean, if you look at the... What was it? Alice... No, not Alice in Borderland. That's a bloody TV series.
Madness Returns?
What was the Borderlands one where it was... Was it Alice? Alice in... I think it... Someone will know what it is. It was like a different version, like a fantasy version of Borderlands.
I'm sure it was Madness Returns.
It might have been.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland, possibly?
That's it.
That's an expansion to Borderlands 2, isn't it?
Yeah, but that... It was kind of... The trailer was good. But we know that none of the things they showed was actually in-game footage. Any of it.
God, let's get into this. What is the point in a trailer that doesn't actually show you the game? I love Blizzard trailers. They are useless.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to play some Diablo? Look at this amazing trailer. Oh, the game is nothing like that. Hey, do you want to play this amazing game? Watch the trailer. The game is... It's point... Well done. You have made a lovely, beautiful CGI cutscene using some characters that we may see at some point. What you have not done is show me the game.
This is one thing that I will give Blizzard credit for, and I think it's something they absolutely deserve credit for. They released 2 trailers. They release cinematic trailer, and immediately following that is the gameplay trailer. Every expansion, every single one. They never keep you in the dark. It's, you know what there is in the game, and more games need to do that.
Yeah, pre-rendered trailers of really nice flashy CGI are great storytelling techniques, rubbish adverts for the game. It's almost like doing a trailer for a book, except you read an excerpt that's not in the book.
Yeah.
Or you read an excerpt that's a different style to the book. Someone's also just put in trailers that show the entire film. I actually really appreciate trailers that show the entire film if I'm not planning on watching the film anyway. Have you ever watched a trailer for a film and it's been like a 4-minute trailer, and then after the trailer finished you're like, I've pretty much watched the entire film now?
Yep, that saved me 2 hours.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Experienced the whole thing.
Do you know what? I need to tell you something, because someone pointed this out to me the other day and it really did make me laugh. They said, have you seen the latest Dreamworld trailer? I was like, yeah, why? And they said, look in the bottom right corner.
I have not. Rommel, thank you for the donation. I have not seen the latest Dreamworld trailer.
It says actual in-game footage, and someone was like, I never doubted it for a minute. Like, well...
Is it terribleness? Is that what it is?
Imagine the first trailer, but they've swapped all the assets out, and it's not quite as laggy when the fireworks go off.
Yeah.
I mean, I said this in my last Dreamworld video. I actually really feel bad for them. Because after... I mean, have you seen that where they were taking me on a tour round?
Oh, God, yeah, that was incredible. That was absolutely incredible that happened just there.
Because the issue is, without them knowing that was me, it shows that they care about the game and that they want it to be something fantastic. They're just incapable of doing it. And, like, I feel really bad, because it's almost like... You know when you were very little and you'd make fun of someone and then you found out later that they're disabled and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, and you realise
That's the kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It's just...
So, for those that weren't aware, Cal, would you like to just share what happened with your Dreamworld personal tour?
Okay, so I hopped on to get some footage on a new account that I'd borrowed off someone. And they didn't know it was me. They didn't know who it was at all. And someone who I spoke to says, hey, my friends are going to be giving me a tour. And I was like, who are your friends? And they went, Zach and Garrison. So I was like, well, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm sticking around.
So you're playing the game, just hanging around. They don't know it's you. You see another player. Turns out that other player is personal friends with the game devs. The devs that you and me have been ripping into for months.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I cut this out of the video because I felt too bad about it, but this guy was basically like, this is awful. He's like, I can name every asset pack in this city. The collision's abysmal. He's like, why am I dying of hunger when I'm stood still? Like, he was literally just listing off everything to me, and I was sat there thinking, dude, I know.
So,
Anyway,
this dude obviously had a bit of knowledge of game design because he knew about
is a game
asset
developer.
packs. And what's his? Was he being brought on as an investor? Was he being brought on as?
I don't know any of that. All I know is that he was being shown around by friends, and he had purchased the game himself, though.
Right. So this dude had bought. Hang on. So he bought the game.
Bought the game.
Didn't he have a player number above his head?
He did.
What was the player number?
161.
161. And he bought the game.
And he had just bought the game.
Which we could probably make a bit of an Occam's razor assumption here, which is taking the least amount of assumptions. He's probably player 161.
Yeah, from what we can tell, yeah. And there's also a pretty big issue with a lot of their database, in the sense that you can query anything on their database and it will return whatever you ask for, pretty much. So,
can you find out his password? Is that what you did?
No, there are not passwords. And this is why.
You can log into Dreamworld if you know someone's username.
No, you have to have a hardware attached token. They're not using passwords because you can query anything on the database. So I can't remember exactly how many players there are, but it's close to 161, 167. And the reason for this, Bot Shredder, thank you for the gifted subs, man. The reason for this is, let's say you're player 167, right?
Okay.
I can basically say, hey, send me inventory data, or send me just data, player 167, and it'll say, here you go. Now, if I say, hey, give me the data of player 168, and it returns false, we know that 167 is the last entry in that database.
Okay.
Meaning that there are only that many players.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It would make sense to me that 161 people bought Dreamworld. How much does it cost to buy?
$35.
$35 times...
to test their game.
160. So hang on, let's just... I'm good at maths, but not when I'm trying to talk and think at the same time.
Yeah, not when you're on the spot.
Yeah, I want to just get my... I want to prove my teachers wrong that said you won't always have a calculator with you.
Oh, you always do. I've got one on my watch now, so I literally cannot lose it.
So, just over $5,500.
And now you need to consider how many times you've seen the advertisements all over Facebook, all over Twitter, everywhere. On YouTube now. There are even adverts on YouTube that people have screenshotted popping up before my videos on Dreamworld.
Yeah, they've probably spent more than $5,500
without a doubt
on advertising this. I don't think Dreamworld's making a profit right now. I can't say.
They're absolutely not.
Not analysts,
absolutely not.
I don't think they are. So you met this dude. He was player number 161. He said that he was going to speak to Zach and Garrison. What happened then?
So they both logged in, by which time we died of starvation and not respawned because there was a bug in this update. I don't know. So we were just ghosts that could jump up and down. Garrison logs in and he's like, hi. And it's brilliant because they'd ignored the obvious issue that there are two dead people stood there.
So Garrison logs in, the developer, sees two dead players. Why doesn't Garrison straight away go, Callum Upton, I know you, I'm not going to talk to you?
Oh, because I had set my name as an Arabic character so that my name displayed as absolutely nothing.
So your name was blank, not the letters B-L-A-N-K. It was just, there was nothing there.
Absolutely blank.
Is that meant to happen?
No.
They
In fact, I was told that I'd found a bug.
Oh, so you within a moment of Garrison seeing you, you'd found a problem with the game.
Yeah, I mean, as a developer, I try things that I would expect amateur programmers to make mistakes with. And it was really bad. So my experience was log in, die from hunger in the city.
How long did hunger take to kill you?
About 3 minutes, but that was standing still.
Does your hunger, do you drain energy faster if you're moving and doing stuff?
Yeah, but you still drain it at a pretty good rate just standing still.
And where can you get food from?
Well, I found out that since my last video where I pointed out that you die of hunger before you can find food, they've added berry bushes around like a house in the city. So you can go and just pick berries in the city, which kind of defeats the purpose.
That makes no story-driven narrative sense. The
you
berries
wanna
are
know
there
the best
purely
bit of it?
mechanically. Tell me the best bit, Ken.
Yeah. When you pick the berries, instead of the berries just disappearing off the bush, the berries are replaced with the grid square texture, the default texture. And you can even see it in my video, and I was just like, oof.
This feels like a really drawn-out first-year university game dev design course that we've seen play out over a year or so.
Yeah. And this is the bit that's so hard, that was so hard for me to wrap my head around. They were showing me around. So Garrison took this guy off and showed him some stuff, and Zach took me off on my own personal tour.
And Zach didn't know it was you.
Zach didn't know it was me.
And the developer of the game, the guy that you and me have been ripping into for a long time, the guy that sighed and everyone left him, you didn't leave him, Cal, did you?
I didn't leave him, not for an hour and a half, anyway.
Couldn't.
No.
So this dude showed you around his game for an hour and a half.
And he was so incredibly proud of everything he was showing me. That's the bit that hurt. And I was just like, oh.
He was proud of the game.
He's genuinely proud of it. But I think they've got... And this happens to the best of us. You're proud of something you've made because you've made it. It's the, if we build it, they will come kind of mentality.
Yeah. See, we judge ourselves off our intentions, but we judge others off their actions. That's a human psychological trait. When you do something, if it didn't go to plan, you always say, yeah, but I meant to do this. Yeah, but I was trying to do this. Yeah, but I know it went wrong, but you can forgive me because I meant for this to happen. When someone else tries something, if they fail and something goes wrong and they say, yeah, but I meant for this to happen, our response is to go, it doesn't matter what you meant to happen. What matters is what you did happen. If you see someone else doing something good, great. You think they're a good person. But you don't need to do something good. You just need to convince yourself that you are a good person, that you think good things. So it was almost like Zach seems to be judging the quality of his game off his effort put into it, not on the actual product he's created.
Yeah. Someone put it perfectly in the comments of that video. They said, it feels like a parent has come home from leaving the child alone for an hour.
Yeah.
They've finger painted on the walls. They've built a treehouse out of the clean bed sheets and stuff. And you have to act proud because you know they meant well.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so spot on.
It does feel like you have paid attention to someone who has been attention starved for a long time. I don't know if you guys have ever you've been at a social event or a party or a function, and there's like a young kid there, like 7 or 8, and no one's paying them attention because you're at a social function. Why would you pay attention to a young kid? And then the young kid comes up to show you something, and out of politeness, you look and go, oh, yeah, that's great, that's really cool. And they think, oh my god, this is incredible, someone's paying me attention, let me show you everything I've ever done in my entire life. And they almost want justification. It does feel like a justification. Look at what I've got. Look at how great this is.
The issue is, and I think this is where this has snowballed so much further than it ever could have. Instead of respond to criticism, they just shut the doors, pull the curtains, don't even respond. Just blank out.
Yeah.
And they surrounded themselves with people who are just, for lack of a better term, polishing their cock. Like, they're not going to give them the harsh, real criticisms. And if they did, they were banned. You can't shut out actual criticism. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Like, if someone comes to me and says on my videos, mate, this was a shit video, it hurts, but if they've got a reason why, I'll take it on board.
You dab your eyes with the YouTube money.
Exactly.
And then we go and jump into our swimming pool of molten gold.
Exactly. But you take it on board. That's the thing. Even if you don't believe it's true, take the criticism on board.
Say, right, how can I... Because people commented me, people messaged me saying, hey Josh, your last worst MMO ever, the one that was just ironic and you just used a 15-minute silence joke, I didn't enjoy that. And I'm thinking, that's a shame. I'll try and do better next time. Onward to the next one. Onward to the next video. People have said in my chat that YouTube would be, not YouTube, sorry, Dreamworld would be much better received if it was free. If it was a free game, and I think, you know what, they probably could have made it. Right now, they're not in profit. There's no way they're in profit.
No, they're so far in the black already. And that's just off my calculations, off of job listings that they've actually filled and stuff, and what they were paying. Mate, they are so far in the black, it's not even funny.
It's actually in the red when you're not making money.
Oh, is it in the red?
It's in the black when you are, which is one of the theories of where the word Black Friday comes from.
Do you know what? I didn't know that.
So there's a load of different theories about where Black Friday... I know this is a random tangent, but that's what we're going to be doing here. People don't exactly know where Black Friday came from. Some people have said it's a holiday. Some people have said it's because people were trampled in sales. My favourite one is... if at the start of the year a company spends X amount of money on buying in stock, they need to make that same amount of money back before they are making a profit, before they are what would be referred to as in the black. That year, that moment in the year for most companies is roughly 11 months into the year. And December will be your profit. So you spend £1 million in January buying in everything you need for your company. By the time it hits November, you've probably made £1 million back. You are now in the black. Every bit of profit you make from Black Friday onwards
that from someone else as well. They'd apparently slash staff until December as well, which is why it was a horrible place to work for.
My boss was great. The stream has frozen, stream is dying, thank you for your content. Nope, stream's still going on for us, guys, don't you worry. It's all looking good for me. If there's a problem, it's Twitch's end, not mine. Yeah, I had a great boss. I had a really, really good boss. And thankfully, people don't leave jobs, people leave bosses.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I don't know if any of you guys in the chat have a story about that, but I've had terrible jobs with great bosses who have got me through the worst part. And I've stayed to work for them. I've worked harder for them, for those people. And I've had great jobs with awful bosses that I've left because the boss has been so terrible.
Yeah. In fact, you know how I told you I worked as an inspector for like service vehicles and that a while back?
Yeah.
I was put on one of the lines with this Scouse guy, and he was intimidating if you didn't know him.
Yeah.
Lovely guy. Absolutely lovely. And he was one of the best people I've ever worked under. Because if you've got an issue, he'll sort it. If you need help with something, he'll get you someone to do it, even if it's not him. He'll get someone to help you. And then I got transferred to another line, and I'd got this new manager, and it was just everything's my fault. He's like, I go to him, I was like, I've got this issue, and he's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do to sort it? And I'm like, no, that's you that needs to sort that. If there's like people not in. And in the end, I left a job that I was absolutely content doing because of the manager.
Yeah.
So yeah, you leave managers, not jobs.
You truly do. If a job has a really high turnover rate, you have to ask why. Because if it's a difficult job, lots of jobs are difficult. Lots of people have really hard jobs. Lots of people wake up every day and go to really hard jobs, and they don't quit every 4 months. They keep working this really hard job because your team around you, your manager, your colleagues, make it bearable. They really do make it bearable.
I have some advice when it comes to finding a job. If you're looking at a place and you're a bit iffy about it, go on like the top 3 local agency sites and see if they're listed on there. If a place is listed on an agency site and you've not heard of them, steer clear.
Because they are churning through staff.
They are churning through them. I think I probably worked with about 180 plus people in the 4 months I was there. And I saw some of them for about 3 hours and never again.
If the staff turnover rate is high, there's usually a reason.
God, yeah.
In fact, should we talk about jobs for a second? Let's talk about jobs and job listings and job advertisements, because there is a lot of... Because I was a teacher for a long time in my life. I was a drama teacher, I did a bit of English teaching, and as a teacher, I think the purpose of education is to instill a love of learning into people. Not necessarily rote memorization, not dates, not times, not facts, not figures. A love of learning and a reward for curiosity. That would be the best thing to do. I really think that the teaching system in England is really it's anti-intelligent, because it doesn't teach people to be intelligent or to be wise or to be curious. It teaches people to memorize and then sit and repeat and use rote memorization. There's a lot of stuff that isn't taught in schools that should be. Taxes.
Absolutely.
Taxes, for one. I was reading up on mortgages a couple of days ago, and people said to me, "Hey, do you want a tracker mortgage or do you want a fixed rate mortgage?" And I thought, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what these things are. What did they do? I had to Google it. I've worked in professional education. I still don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Because no one taught me.
And in fact, when I first got monetized on YouTube, I came to you about the whole tax TIN number or whatever it is.
And I sent you to a YouTube video from some
taught
random
you.
Indian guy that taught... I swear to God, if you ever need tech advice, I guarantee there is some random Indian guy on YouTube...
That's got your exact problem.
...who has done it.
Yeah.
Every single tech problem I have ever had has been solved by some Indian guy on YouTube.
Yep. Yep.
God bless
Absolutely.
them. God bless them for holding up the tech... holding up all of
the tech
the pillars of tech.
Yeah.
I've got... And the worst thing is when you Google a really specific problem and you find a forum post from like 2003 that has your exact problem and then just in square brackets, solved. But nowhere in the forum thread does it explain how it's solved.
I actually have something here for my fellow developers. So, this is a really common problem with programming. If you need to do something oddly specific, you could fumble your way through it, or you could Google it because someone has run through all the problems and already solved them before you even get to those problems. So, like, why do the heavy lifting? Now, there is an add-on called Grepper, Grepper, and what it will do is it will search only tech results that come up and find the exact solution to your problem and put it at the very top of your search history in block formatted code as well for the language that you're after. It's a godsend. It really is. If anyone does programming, try it.
That is absolutely what I'm talking about with the problems with the educational establishment in England. I have a friend who is an IT specialist, and he was in his job interview. We'll go back to job interviews in a second. He was in his job interview, and they said to him, "What would you do if you didn't know something?" And all the other candidates had said they would go and talk to a member of staff, they would ask their boss, they would send an email query. He was the only person that said, "I'd Google it."
Yeah.
That's 90% of job problems. Just Google it and work it out.
Yeah.
But school doesn't teach you how to find the answers to problems. School teaches you what a problem is, what the answer is, remember this, go into the exam and write it down to prove you've remembered it.
But then when you get a question that's similar, you don't have the knowledge to figure out the answer from nothing.
Spot on. Because you then get a question that's similar and you think, I don't know what the answer to this is. And that is the problem with the education system. Because if the education system were good, you would look at a question and go, I don't know what the answer to this is, but I do know the method I need to find the information to get the answer to this problem.
And we'll figure it out.
Correct. Yeah. That is the biggest problem with the education system. You need to learn how to learn. If that makes sense.
I actually had a really good example of this. We had a Scottish maths teacher, and we'd all come up from the year below into from year 8 into year 9. And this maths teacher was doing algebra. And he said, I want to find the answer to this solution. And all the girls that were at the back of the room had all got it, sat there smug on their phone and whatever. And he goes, right, show me how you got there. And they're just like, it's the answer though, and he goes, "Yeah, it's right. How did you get there?"
Yeah,
and they were like, they just knew that. So if he'd have asked a different question, they wouldn't have a clue. They absolutely wouldn't have a clue.
Here's what I've taught before, and this is how learning to learn is so important. If any of you in the chat, and Cal, I'm pretty sure this is going to be straight right for you.
Yeah.
Who was told in school that they were smart, or that they were gifted, or that they were, quick, and they weren't necessarily challenged in school. You got given a test, you got given an idea, you got given the work, and you did it pretty quickly, and the people looked at you and went, that's good, well done, you finished, you're smart, and you started maybe a little bit ahead of everyone else. You were a little bit smarter. Here's the problem with this. I like to compare it to this. Imagine two cars. The first car starts moving at 1 mile an hour, and the second car starts at 100 miles an hour. Just shoots off straight away. It's way faster. People look at the 100 mile an hour car and go, we don't need to help you. You're smart, you're moving fast, you're making progress, we're not going to help you. They look at the slow one and go, right, you need a bit of help. So they encourage the car to go faster. They show it how to accelerate. It goes to 2 miles an hour, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It gets slowly and slowly quicker. The 100 mile an hour car is still really far ahead, but it's not getting any faster because it never had to learn how to learn. It was always good. It was always good enough. It was always better. It was always talented and gifted.
Yep.
The other one, the guy that struggled, the car that's going slower, they're learning how to learn. They're learning how to improve, how to accelerate, how to get better. Eventually, that car that started slow will reach 100 miles an hour. Now, it'll still be really far behind because the other one started way earlier. But this is the trick. That one that started slow and had to accelerate, that won't stop accelerating. 101, 102, 103, 104. And very slowly, that slow car that had to learn how to learn, that had to learn how to accelerate, catches up. And now they're neck and neck. And the car that started really skillful, the car that had the natural talent, this is natural talent, guys. I guarantee this is what this is. You start with natural talent, you don't have to learn how to learn. The car with natural talent looks at the other person, the untalented, unskilled, useless car they remember from years ago, and they say, why on earth are they going faster than me? Why are they doing better? And the answer is because you've been coasting on your talents and skills for so long that you never had to learn how to overcome any obstacles, so you never had to learn how to learn. I was exactly the same. I started, I'm guessing you were as well, Cal.
This might surprise a few people, or it might be completely obvious. I was basically told that I was an absolute dunce.
Oh, really?
Like, that I was an absolute failure at school. And this is because I have a very specific way of learning, and it was absolutely not the way I was being taught. So, IT, I failed outright. End of the year. Only things I passed was art and RE. And I only passed RE, religious education for people not in the UK, because I made an incredibly good counterpoint for why God didn't exist, and she couldn't mark me down on it, because I'd done exactly what was asked of me in a concise way, and they were like, okay, fair enough, you've done exactly what we asked.
Just so you know, RE lessons in the UK weren't about having an opinion or not. They were just about learning how to put forward what the school wanted you to say. The only thing I remember was making a really good Diwali lantern, because we learned about the Festival of Lights and how they would release paper lanterns on the river and go down. It was great. That was all RE was various religious holidays.
It's learning about other people's culture around religion and their beliefs and how to not offend other religion. It wasn't so much like an indoctrination kind of, bring people in and have them leave
This is
religious.
what this culture believed, this is where it came from. I thought it was cool. We learned about Buddhism, we learned about Hinduism.
I enjoyed it.
Hindus, Sikhs are just the most chill people.
Yeah.
I've never seen an angry Sikh, ever. They're just so chill.
No, I can't think of one, actually. Yeah. But so it was basically, I was told that, I'd fail at all this, and they were like, oh, he seems to enjoy IT, but he sucks at it. And it's like, I don't want to sit there inputting data into an Excel spreadsheet. Well, what am I learning? And then PC building, which I was so excited for, we get to that, and it's just push the RAM stick into here. And I'm like...
Seat the RAM.
We literally learned to put RAM in, and that was a PC building done. Congratulations.
Excellent, fantastic.
Installing drivers as well was another one, and I was like, okay, sounds boring, but I'll give it a go. It was plug a wireless mouse in and click yes when it asks you to install the drive. I genuinely, I'm being dead serious.
It was a plug-and-play mouse.
Yeah, and you know the school that I went to, so you can imagine the kind of just stupidity amongst the teachers that they were cycling through every couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is this is a major problem with the education system. Education is not about, because I think it was the famous saying, everyone's smart, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will appear stupid. They put the idea of taking 30 people and putting them in a room and forcing them to learn in a very specific way is dumb. Because then the people that don't learn this way aren't going to get anything. The people that do learn this way quickly are going to excel. The people that do learn this way slowly are going to take too long to catch up. And the bored people are going to be bored. Imagine doing the same thing to adults. Imagine taking 30 adults to teach them, putting them in a room and teach them in a way that doesn't work for all of them.
Yeah.
You'd leave.
Yeah.
You would leave the class.
That is exactly what I did. I went to college, I got into an IT college, and I thought that everything would change, right? I'd managed to, fight to get in there despite my shitty grades. Finally got in there because they were like, okay, you seem interested and you seem knowledgeable, even though your results are crap. I was like, yeah. So got in there. I left after 4 months. I just walked out because it was nothing that I wanted to learn.
Yeah, that's a big one.
What was it? There was a programming section, and the entire thing was Java. And that I'd said to them, I was like, I think it was Java anyway, but they were supposed to be teaching us to program calculators and that. They were doing it with Java. And I'm just sat there like, this doesn't even apply to what our next unit is.
This is dumb.
Well, I want to learn Python, I want to learn C, I want to learn the useful things for what you're about to show us.
People have said in the chat there, that's because there aren't that many good teachers. Do you want to know why? And this is going to sound really horrible. It's not worth it.
Nope.
It's not worth being a good teacher. To be a good teacher, you need to take into account 30 people's individual needs for every single class you have. Then you need to provide, mostly, all of the resources yourself. Most of the printing and the paperwork that I would bring out if I was doing drama classes, I had to print off at home. I wasn't reimbursed for that. I had to just buy a printer, buy all the paper, do that at home, bring all that in. The school don't give you that.
Oh.
Then you have to learn all the kids' names, fears, loves, wants, desires, hates, everything about them, and then work with them individually. And you have to do this on such a degree that they actually feel like they're gaining unique skills from you. And then, at the end of the year, those kids have to take a test. And all of your teaching ability is judged on their ability to pass that test. So you very quickly realise that to be a good teacher, in the eyes of the government and the establishment, you have to get
one-on-one, pretty much.
You have to get kids to pass tests.
Yep.
That's all you have to do.
You literally have to become a one-on-one teacher.
Yeah.
With all of them, and you can't.
So if I were to sit down and be a bad teacher, in reality, all I would do is tell all 30 students in the class the answers to the tests. And then they would take the tests, and then they would all pass, and I would be seen, on paperwork, as the best teacher ever.
Yep.
Or I actually connect with all the students on a personal level, I help improve their lives, I empathise with them, and hopefully I leave them with a positive impression of school and learning and curiosity and intelligence in general, and then they take the test, and they don't pass the test because I haven't taught them the exact answer to that question, they fail the test, and I get seen as the worst teacher in the world, and I lose my job. I've never lost my job, but testing is a horrible... Yes, exactly, Madfar. Testing is an awful judge of intelligence. Awful judge of intelligence.
It really is, because it's such a specific thing that if people know the answer, they're great. But if they don't, they don't. And this is why I realised that, and as always, family call you out for it when you walk out of college. I realised that everyone's way of teaching isn't my way of learning.
Yep.
It's plain and simple. I left and I started programming, teaching myself, completely self-taught. And this is so funny to me because I had about 8 friends, really close friends, that carried on through that course. And they spent the full 3 years there. They come to me for programming advice. Like the other day, I had one come to me and he was like, hey, I'm trying to write a neural network in Python. Where do I even start? And I'm thinking, dude, you did 3 years of college.
You should be telling me.
You should be telling me. But he's got it on paper that he can do that. But he can't. I don't have it on paper that I can do it, and I can.
When people say, and this is irritating, when you apply for a job and they say, oh, you need a college degree or a university degree to work here, and then you agree, and then you walk in and they go, oh, forget everything from college and uni, you won't need that here. Going to college or to university is a 3-year test to see if you can learn. That's pretty much what it is. It's a 3-year test to see if you are capable of absorbing knowledge, finding a way to reference it, and then bring it back out. University is so much better for teaching people how to overcome problems than high school or college. In England, when we say college, we mean like sixth form, 16 to 18, university is 18 plus. I know that Americans say college for everything. But you really do need actual scenario situation-based training for these things. The education system is terrible, and I will constantly say how terrible it is.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely awful because, like, my brother as well, he was failing in IT, and he was just like, I just don't find it interesting. And then he was watching me program something in Python once, and he was like, oh, can you make me a Discord bot with Python? Someone said that you can do that. And I was like, no, why don't you make one and I'll teach you how to do it. He had an absolute blast doing that. And he says to me, he was like, my programming class isn't anything like this. It's just here telling us how to do something, how to program something that doesn't need to be done programmatically. Like something that could just be written down. And it's just, if you can't captivate someone's imagination with something, you're not doing it right.
And I think that's a big point, a big thing. You need to grab someone's imagination, because making them do the same thing again and again and again, like a robot, will raise them to be a robot. And imagine have you ever seen the film, I think it's Apollo 13, where the whole space thing goes wrong. Houston, we have a problem, the classic thing. There's a great scene in Apollo 13 where something on the spaceship breaks, and back down in Houston, one of the actors, they walk in and they dump this box of stuff on the table. And they pick up a square plug, and then they pick up a round tube, and they say, right, we need to find a way to make this fit in here. This is what we've got. And they all start diving in to try and find a solution. And I think that right there is a perfect example of actually teaching people how to do stuff, how things could work. Put people in situations where they need to use their intelligence and their wisdom to come up with an answer that isn't just given to them.
Yeah, and this is perfect. So I actually, I had something listed on Fiverr going back a few years where I was going to do like tutoring for Python. And I taught a few people. And there was this one person that said that to me that they wanted to get into IT and all that, but they really hated programming. But, you know, they wanted to learn it. So I was like, okay. And I can't remember the exact thing I did. Basically, I taught them the basic... I said to them, I was like, right, we're going to find a way to go through these 100 text files, right? 2 of them have something in there that we need. I was like, but you're not going to open them all up and go through them, right? I was like, that would take too long. I said, so what we're going to do instead is I'm going to teach you the fundamentals to open files in Python, read them in Python, see if they're empty, and then do something, you know, based off of a variable. I was like, I'm going to teach you all that, and then you're going to make it happen. I was like, I will give you the tools to make it happen, but you need to put them together. And he stayed with me for like 4 months of different things. He'd come back every like couple of weeks for a lesson and whatever. And that's how some people prefer to learn. They want the reward is figuring something out, not being told, yeah, you just do this, this, and this, and then it's like, oh, cool.
Can I just link teaching someone in a way that gives them small bits of information to tutorials in video games? And I think I've mentioned this to you before. I think the greatest tutorial in a video game that you don't even know it's a tutorial is Portal.
Yeah, I agree.
If you in the chat, if you played Portal, bear with me, just go with me on this story here. The game starts, you don't have a portal gun, but you can leave the room, and you see a portal in the wall, so you go through it. Then you see a portal gun in the centre that you can't access, and there's one portal that's staying still, and one portal that's moving around. So you go through, and then it moves around, and you go through, and you realise, right, I get it, these things are linked together. Okay, cool. You go through, you go through, you go through. And then eventually you get access to the portal gun, but you can only fire one colour. The other colour is stable and static. So that way you're forced to realise, right, I can change the position of this one colour. And then you walk in and you get access to both, and you realise, right, now I know what to do. You have been shown the situation, shown how it works, shown what to do, and now you're given the power. I think education should be like that. Here is the situation. Here are all the factors we can control. This is how this works. This is how you could do this if you could only control this. This is how you could do it if you could only control this. Here's all the stuff, go and do it. I really think education should be much more like that. Education really should be a It should be a situation where you give people things that all work together. What do you think, Cal? I'm staring at your camera, Cal. Don't tell me that you've fallen off. Guys, we've lost Callum. We've lost Cal. My Callum left me. F's in the chat for Cal. It's okay. Cal's idling. Can we put like a little loading symbol over him? Hang on. He's just messaged me. Power cut. BRB. You know what, guys? It's been 2 hours. Hang on. I'll message him back. It's okay. Should I call him on the phone? If I call Cal on the phone, shall I just hold it up to the microphone and see if we can get him back on? Maybe this will work. Okay. Hang on. Let's just see if I can just call him on the phone. Get him on there. You know, I'll tell him, no worries. It's ending anyway. And we'll wait. So, how are you guys doing today? Yeah, I will. Oh, there we go. No, we seem to have got some stuff. He's gone now. You've just got me on both screens because this is how we set it up. I'll give him a call. I'll give him a little bit of a call. We'll see what we can get. And then we will see if I can just pull it up from here. Don't worry, he's on my phone. You should be able to hear him as soon as he says hi. The phone's ringing. We're going to get there, don't worry. Don't worry. Nah, it's not a problem. It's okay. Excellent ending. This is the perfect ending to the entire... I think it's gone well. I think it's gone really well. So, you know what I can do? I can do this. Hang on. New plan. I can do this. And then I can do this. Beautiful. I think it worked. So, guys, allow me to explain how things have worked. Incoming call from Callum. Incoming call. Callum, have we got you back?
Well, not quite.
Are you on your phone?
I am.
It's okay. Don't worry. We're all here.
I'm sorry. I'm lost in the ether.
What happened, Cal? Because I sighed and said my Callum left me.
Power cut the whole street.
Cal, if you didn't want to do the podcast, mate, you can just say you don't need to power cut your entire street.
Josh, I didn't want to offend you. I had to find the quickest way out of there.
You know what? From that, yeah, that's true. If people don't want to talk on Discord or don't want to, chat to me on the phone, power cutting your entire street, I respect the hustle.
Yeah, I mean, it was more effort than possibly just hanging up and saying that I'd had a power cut.
Cal, do you just want to play your old school Iron Man account? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the first thing I did. Jumped off, just restarted the PC, and just straight onto Iron Man.
Well, I mean, you do have a phone, and you could just... You are going to play old school RuneScape on your phone now, aren't you?
I mean, probably, because the power's not back on yet.
Exactly. You may as well. That's the thing you should go and do.
Might as well. There's nothing better to do.
Locust in the chat is saying you should join me in the Motherlode Mine. Locust, no, I will be... it's Cypher saying join me in the Motherlode Mine. I will be doing agility to help my team, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you should do.
I should do. I'm going to be the most agile. I'm going to be
it's
fast
important.
as fuck, boy. That's what I'm going to be. Running around. How does Josh have that little gill? Oh, on the little screen, I see. I'm a poor boy. So, Cal, let's.
Yeah.
What do we think the final thought is for tonight's Tangent Tavern?
Ooh, don't go to school, kids. New World could be beautiful if it was loved. And somehow Dreamworld actually care about their game.
So Dreamworld actually care, despite having the worst game. Amazon don't care, despite having potentially the best game.
Yeah.
And if you have an IT problem, there is probably an Indian guy on YouTube who can solve it.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
I think that's a good takeaway.
That is a good takeaway. Indian is one of the best takeaways. I'm glad that we've all managed to agree on that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for joining me and Callum today. Cal, do you have any final parting words today, apart from the fact that Dreamworld's
My
terrible?
electricity left me.
Ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining us for tonight, Tangents Tavern. Callum will be uploading it onto YouTube as soon as possible. Tangents Tavern on YouTube, just search for it. I will see you on Wednesday for my next New World video. Cal, what's your next video coming out?
I think I'm going to be doing the one... Oh, tomorrow will be Dreamworld, but after that I'm going to be doing one about MMOs being built backwards.
I like how you've both started and ended with problems.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
You should have heard the noise my PC made when it turned off.
Did it pop?
I'm worried for the power supply, actually.
Right. I've got, I'm running my PC through 4 or 5 different surge protectors. Because, I mean, I'm not taking any chances with this. It is ridiculous. So...
The issue with it is I've got a 2,500 watt power supply from when I used to mine.
That's a lot of power.
If that's gone up, that's gone off with a bang.
Right, guys, I will leave you all to it. Thank you very much for joining us, Cal. Everyone in the chat.